Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be working with the Heidi Swapp Honey and Spice collection. This is her new fall collection for this year, and I just loved it. I got the ephemera and some of the pattern papers. I'm using the 6x6 pattern papers today, and I'm going to create a 10 cards 1 kit video for you. So this will be part 1 with the first 5 cards, and then tomorrow I will have part 2 with the second 5. So I am starting out here by combining 2 of the pattern papers. There was a really pretty sort of almost brushed paint look, light pink, and then I also grabbed this gorgeous floral. I've trimmed that down to about 3 inches, and then I also pulled in some leftover rose gold. The back of it is Kraft. It's from Holtz. It was in the last Simon Says stamp card kit. So I just trimmed off a piece of that and added that along the top of my floral pattern paper. And here I'm laying out one of the stickers, which is sort of like an old photo frame, and I've grabbed this Hello vellum die cut that I'm going to place right on top of that. Now I'm going to hop in here in a second and I will actually change this. The reason I did is because the glue really warped that vellum piece, and it was all okay except for the O in the hello, and when I let it dry I thought maybe it'll be okay, but I just didn't like it, so I pulled it back in here in a second. You'll see I'm going to remove all of this. I will add a few leftover enamel dots. These are from that Carta collection that I recently worked with, and the colors blended really well, so if you're looking for enamel dots to go along with this one, I would suggest this pack. So I did want to show you the design because I thought it was really pretty, and I actually really loved it. But like I said, when the wrinkle in that O just would not smooth out for me, I decided I wouldn't give someone a card that looked like that. So here I've taken everything off, and now I've grabbed one of the embossed tags. This says love you, and I just trimmed off the end with the hole at it to turn it more into a sentiment strip rather than a tag. And then I'm going to grab some of the other stickers and just sort of create a little sentiment here. So the top one is going to read mood, and it has sort of a semicolon or a colon after that. And then love you, easy like a Sunday morning, let the good times roll. I did grab there that yellow heart. I wanted to pull in a little bit more of that sort of mustardy color, and I placed that at the top, but I will actually move that in a minute as well. Here I'm going to finish adding on the rest of these stickers. And then I just decided I needed a little something more, so I will remove that heart, and I'm going to add in those 3 enamel dots that I had taken off from the previous design. For the inside here, I've got a Nina panel trimmed to 4x5 1/4. I'm going to add down another sentiment sticker that reads "The future is ours." And then I will trim off a piece of another one of the pattern papers, which is sort of a dark mustard color with some polka dots on it. I'll trim off about 1/2 inch of that, add some ATG, and place that along the bottom of my panel. And I should mention this cardstock is from Paper Tray Ink in the color Honey Nut. So I'll add some ATG, place that on the inside of my card base, and that will complete card number 1. Here for card number 2, I have the opposite side of that polka dot pattern paper I just used on the inside of the first card, and I've trimmed that down to 4x5 1/4, those pretty flowers off to the side there. And then I've gone ahead and laid out some of the pieces of ephemera. So I have again grabbed one of the tags, and I'm just cutting off the end with the hole. I'll add some ATG and place that down. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop up this "You Are One of a Kind" using some of my foam tape. I'll peel away the backing and place that down as well. And then the bird was a little bit more tricky. I really loved all of these vellum pieces, but with the really thin rose gold copper on them, it was really difficult to get glue behind them. So for this one, what I ended up doing is I grabbed one of the very smallest sticky thumb dots, and then I cut that in half, and I placed that half right behind the bird's eye. And then I will add just a little bit of art glitter glue behind the tail where it has the majority of that foiling. And I'll go ahead then and place that down on top of my panel. And this is holding pretty well. I'll add some ATG to the back of my panel and place that down on my card base. This card base is made from MFT's bubblegum cardstock. For the inside, I've again got my Nina panel, and I'm going to stamp out the sentiment "Thank You." I'm using some Lawn Fawn Peachy Keen ink. And this stamp is from a Heidi Swapp stamp set. I'm going to use several of these. They're old and they're small. They're really actually made more for journaling or maybe to use in your planner. So if I'm able to find them, I will link them for you below, but she had a whole series of these a little while ago with her pretty script and lots of little words. So you'll see I'll pull a few more of those in. I've again grabbed a scrap with it's a pretty dark maroon with sort of a peach flower outline, added that along the bottom. That measures just over 1/2 inch. And then I'll add some ATG to the back and place that on the inside of my card base. And that will complete card number 2. So here for card number 3, I'm going to be using this black geometric base, and I've again trimmed that down to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to lay out some of this floral ephemera here, and then I wanted to pull in one of the sentiment stickers, so I'm just going to try that out, make sure I like the way it looks. This reads, "You are my sunshine." Some really pretty rose gold on that. I love the rose gold accents in this collection. And once I'm sure I want to use that, I'm going to add a little bit of art glitter glue behind this vellum piece, just along the bottom there. And then I'll go ahead and glue down this larger piece. For the darker flower, I'm going to pop that up to give a little bit of dimension, so I'll add some foam tape behind there. And peel away the backing and get that down in place. Next, I'll grab my sentiment, and I wanted to pop that up as well. So I'm just going to add a little bit of foam tape along one end of it, and I will leave that little bit there on the opposite side. So that'll go right on top of the flower that's already popped up, and that'll keep everything nice and even. I'm going to go ahead and add some art glitter glue behind my panel, and I'll place that down on my card base. This is made from MFT's Black Licorice cardstock. And I'm being sure to go ahead and add some glue on the leaves as well, because I'm going to let those run all the way to the edge of my card base. There I'm going to add a few very, very tiny dots of my art glitter glue behind that vellum piece, just to help that stay down a little bit more flat. And then I'll trim the excess off of the edges here. I am going to save this larger leaf piece, you'll see in a second, and I thought I have it, so I might as well use it. So I did add a little bit of glitter glue behind that, and I'll place that underneath that darker flower. For For the inside, I'm using another scrap of pattern paper with this pretty sort of different tones of pink stripe to it. I've again trimmed off about 1/2 inch of that. I'm going to run that right along the bottom of my Nina panel. I thought there for a second that I could get a color on either end of my panel, but it didn't work out, so I'm just going to use that lighter pink on the edge there. I've grabbed another one of the sentiment stickers. This one reads, "My one and only." I'll go ahead and place that down. And then I'll add some ATG to the back and place that on the inside of my card base. And that will complete card number 3. For card number 4, I'm going to use this sort of orange rust colored fleur-de-lis pattern paper, and I've trimmed that to 4 by 5 1/4. And here I've grabbed some of the ephemera. I'm just going to lay this out. I loved this tag. I think this was my favorite tag. And the "This Is Us" sentiment was also one of my favorite pieces of ephemera. I'm grabbing one of the stickers that reads "You and Me." I'm going to place that on top of that back pink panel that reads "Happiness Is." And then I'm going to try and keep everything as much in place as I can. I'll slide that down and get that in place with some art glitter glue. The tag I will also glue flat down. And then for that "This Is Us" script, I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape. I'm pulling in my 1/4 inch wide foam tape for that. And this ephemera was really sturdy, so I didn't feel like I needed to cover the entirety of the back, just enough to pop it up. There I thought I might switch out that card base for a green color, which I do like, to pull in a little bit more of the green from that tag, but I just really liked the warm look of this red in the background. And this is made from MFT's Cranberry Cocktail. I'll add some ATG to the back of my panel and place that on top of my card base. I then grabbed some leftover twine. This is leftover from the Close to My Heart Hawthorne kit that I was working with this week. And I've doubled that over to make the bow a little bit thicker. I'm just going to tie that into a little bow here. And then I'll grab a glue dot and place that down right on top of my tag. For the inside, I'm again on my Nina panel, and I'm using another one of those Heidi Swapp stamps. This one reads "Together." I'm going to stamp that out using my Close to My Heart black ink. I am really loving this ink. Going to trim off a scrap from that pink sort of painted looking paper. That was what I used from the first card, and that measures about 1 inch. I'm going to place that right along the bottom of my panel. Add some ATG to the back, and I'll place that on the inside of my card base. And that will complete card number 4. Here for card number 5, I'm going to start out by trimming down this bicycle pattern paper. It's got a really pretty yellow green to it. And again, I've trimmed that to 4 by 5 1/4. I pulled in another one of these flowers and a few other pieces of ephemera. I love that bulldog. I think he is so cute. And I'm just going to layer these here. I did trim off just a little piece of that flower because I didn't want it to be sticking out in between the dog's legs. So once I'm happy with how I have that laid out, and there I'm just checking the sentiment that I want to use, I'll go ahead and get everything glued into place. For this Good Times piece, I decided I wanted to pop that up for a little bit of dimension. So I'll add some of my sticky thumb dots behind it and then press that into place. And then I'll add some ATG to the back and place down my panel. Also going to add in that sticker sentiment. It reads, "Celebrate every tiny victory." Oh, I'm going to trim off my edges first. And then I'll pull in my sentiment. And I'm going to run that over the edge of the card base as well. For the inside, I've again got my Nina panel, and I'm going to use another one of the sentiment stickers. This reads, "The future is bright." I've also grabbed another one of these scraps from my pile, and I actually trimmed this to leave just a little bit of a white edge along that pink line. And then I will place that right along the bottom, so it gives me the look of having just that little bit of white like I usually do underneath, but it is actually placed right exactly along the bottom. Again, I'll add some ATG and place that on the inside of my card base. And I think I forgot to tell you this card base is made from MFT's Jelly Bean Green. And that will complete card number 5. Here are a few close-ups of the finished cards. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has additional photos and links to the supplies I used. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.